So your mask is green.
No.
So that's really bad. I think once you use this.
It's great. No, you wear that one. It's good because you can see through my head.
Okay.
It's really cool.
Okay.
Freaking awesome.
So I think we're live, Kim.
Oh, I just cussed. You didn't tell me I was live.
Well, I
put your mask on.
Okay, but
Silly
see,
blue.
we know that when we start a Facebook live stream, from the second we enable.
I didn't know you did it because honestly.
Okay, this doesn't have.
I know you just have to hold it, silly. There you go. Now, okay. So then we got these masks on a road trip.
No,
Hi. These are our real faces. We were on a road trip and we went into a little corner market. Gosh, where were we? In the middle of nowhere, like the Central Coast inland, and these are on the shelf. I think they've been there since the 60s. They're probably 50 cents each. I only bought one each because I didn't think it was right to take all of them. They're too cool.
Tim, why are we here?
It's Halloween. You can take your mask off.
Thanks.
Don't strangle in there.
Okay.
Look, I'm I'm a little bit green screeny. Now you know how we make the magic. How we make the magic sausage.
Okay, Kim, what's on the screen behind us?
Well, this is a visual for what we're doing tomorrow, which is a whole talk about nothing but weird crimes and mysteries in Los Angeles with a nice little two-headed girl.
So your webinar.
It is my baby.
Your Halloween webinar tomorrow on Halloween at 12 noon Pacific Daylight Time is 13 cases. Daylight time? It is. It ends tomorrow night at midnight. Yes.
13.
2 a.m.
1, 2, 3, up to 13. They're all weird. Every single one of them will make it a little bit okay that you probably can't go out trick-or-treating tonight. If you do go trick-or-treating tonight in Los Angeles, you might get exposed to something worse than what happened to this young lady. So we all want you to stay safe, and we also want you to be entertained. So I've been digging through my big book of crime.
Big book of crime.
Well, I barely just finished the slideshow because there's so many cases. They're all my babies. I didn't want to throw any of them out, but I could only pick 13. Imagine having 13 babies. That would be scary too. And I'd love to have you join me. And some of them are pretty obscure, and all of them are pretty strange. And I think that
they're all totally fucked up, Kim.
We're cussing tonight. Yeah. There's some dark stuff. Yeah. So join me for a crime cavalcade.
Do you want to tell them about Superman?
I don't want to give it all away, but
he wears a Superman outfit.
He wears a Superman outfit.
He lives in Hollywood.
Is there a Superman curse? Is there? What is it about the Superman costume that brings out some of the darkest elements of humanity? I don't know, but bad things happen to people who put on that freaking costume. Don't put it on.
Okay, good.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, good. So
it's not who you think it is.
No, it's not.
It's not Chris. It's neither of the Chris's.
All right, so let's
Oh, yes. Time.
So let's move. So next Saturday. Here we go.
Hey,
so next Saturday.
I like that color scheme, by the way.
No, thank you. November 7, Saturday, November 7. Our webinar is going to be with Detective Mike Digby.
I'm so excited to see Mike again. I really miss him.
Well, he's going to give a presentation for this webinar, which he uses to train arson investigators.
Like for the FBI
for like federal, we're going to say just federal law enforcement.
Federal law enforcement. I didn't say FBI.
So here's a photo of the Times bombing. We're going to move us even farther out of the way.
This was in the heart of downtown Los Angeles at the right around this time of year.
October. We want it. So one of our we thought about doing this on the anniversary, but we just didn't have our
act together
yet. We were and
that's okay.
Yeah, and Mike's is like, well, that's cool. Yeah, it's cool. So these are the ruins of the October 1, 1910 bombing at the Los Angeles Times,
which ends up being a national investigation involving major labor investigators and a conspiracy that spread so far that it's just extraordinary that they were able to follow all of the threads and actually get to a point where they could ruin many lives while having a trial.
And what's on the screen?
So when we launched this as a bus tour back in the days of bus tours, we had the opportunity when the LA Times was still in their historic building down kitty corner to City Hall to do a photo session there in the Globe lobby with Mike. And it was a really interesting story that Carolina Miranda put out about our tour. We really appreciated it. And then I was so excited soon after because it's a story all about the unions fighting against the Los Angeles Times, that shortly thereafter, Carolina was one of the leaders of what became the first writers union at the LA Times. And so shout out to the Times Guild, and hope that one day in the not too distant future, that wonderful Globe lobby will again have something to do with newspapers as opposed to real estate.
Right. So at the moment, this photo of us is in a lobby that is not owned by the Los Angeles Times and probably never will be again.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm hoping the Hearsts will come back and start a newspaper.
We're gonna
move on. Hey, that looks nice.
Yeah, so let's pull us back on the screen and let's center us. So
we just announced our latest webinar, and it's going to be on the 14th of November, and it's all about Bukowski.
Charles Bukowski. So what is the photo? What is the background photo here, Kim?
So that's Fat Annie's joint on Western in the early 70s.
Fat Annie's is immediately behind you.
Behind me, it's a massage parlor.
And to my right is the
Triple X.
Yeah.
Bookshop.
Hollywood and Western.
Well, what I love about Bukowski is that he lived in neighborhoods that are very seldom documented, but they're really interesting. I'm from Hollywood. We've got this kind of Valley Girl thing going on because you're from Cheviot Hills, but I grew up at Sunset and Vista.
What?
Well, you didn't have things like this at your front door.
When I was like
you had to travel.
When I took the bus by elementary school, St. Augustine by the Sea, 4th and Wilshire. I took the bus. I got off at Santa Monica and 3rd every morning to walk 3 blocks to school. And one morning, my father dropped me off early, and I got there early. And I went into the cafe at 3rd and Broadway, across from the bus stop. And I walked in, and everyone in the cafe had a racing form but me.
Okay, that is.
And they didn't get. And I'm like, why does? I was like, I didn't know what it was. I was like, why do you like? I was.
What is that? The menu?
Juice. Right. I was like, I ordered an orange juice, and like they like, you don't get one of those. And I'm like, what do you mean? I don't like. What is that?
Okay, I'm sorry. That's really cute. Racing form. I lived surrounded by hookers. Anyway, what does this have to do with Charles Bukowski? Bukowski lived in East Hollywood. He spent a lot of time downtown, and we love to collect photos of the parts of the city that were important to him as a writer. We've been giving a tour since 2007 about how this guy, whose reputation is of this, really raunchy, rough character, but he really wrote beautiful things, and he had to reach deep inside to find the voice within himself that was great, and fight through a lot of demons. So it's quite a story, and the places where he spent time are fun to explore. So we hope that you'll join us for Bukowski's LA. And if you're not a Bukowski fan, it's actually pretty easy to get up to speed. If you want to read a little Bukowski, you could pick up some of the poetry. You could watch the film Barfly, which is a great introduction. You could read the novel Women or Post Office. Any one of those would be great. Or you could just hop in and love LA like we do. And like you did.
So Los Angeles is such a big, the font size for Los Angeles is big behind us, right?
Yeah, it is.
And
you spelled it right too.
And I did that, thanks, Kim. And I did that because this webinar, which is not our Charles Bukowski bus tour, because
everyone knows that because there's no bus tours.
It's only 90 minutes. We're not a bus. This webinar is going to be about a Los Angeles that doesn't exist anymore. This is going to be about a Los Angeles that was Charles Bukowski's emotional half acre, and it is a love letter to Bukowski. And at the risk of ruining my friendship with my dear friend Stephen Luffman by embarrassing him, I will say that Stephen Luffman got on the Bukowski bus 2 years ago, and he was like, not that big. And he's like, no, this is like a love letter to Los Angeles, Richard. This almost, he didn't say it has nothing to do with Charles Bukowski, but it's like this is
you don't have to like Charles Bukowski to like the tour.
The subtext of the conversation throughout the whole tour was, I love you guys. I want to get on the bus. Bukowski's not my favorite writer, but like as the tour progresses, he's like, no, this is like using Charles Bukowski as an entry drug to get into just really intravenous drug use for time travel to the nitty gritty Los Angeles. And
that sounds like fun. Sucks. I'm going to sign up for that one.
Okay.
I'm going to help you with that. No, before you go any further, I see what you're doing there. We have a new blog post. Can I talk about that now?
Why don't we go to the newsletter and you can talk about that?
All right.
Because I think like the newsletter slide is when you talk about that.
Okay.
Okay, so let me move us.
Wait, are you
again.
telling secrets out of school?
What?
What is this?
This is Nathan. What are you doing? This is Nathan's book. We're doing a webinar with
but
Nathan
it's not
on.
listed yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Well,
so-
but he was on
Yeah, he
last
was
week
on,
and we
and
talked about it.
And we went so long. So obviously this webinar is going to be about 6 hours. So you
No,
definitely want to lay in
it's
some
not.
snacks.
It's not going to be 6
No?
hours. No.
Because at some point I'm going to get a hook and I'm going to pull you off.
No.
We love Nathan though.
Nathan's going to give a webinar in later November
He
about
promised me
his book.
there would be not just his book. There will be things in this webinar that no one has ever seen before. If you're interested in Los Angeles, thank you for fixing that. Los Angeles photographic archiving and sort of digging up the lost places through very rare, hard to find material that actually illustrates them and from maybe 2 or 3 directions. You're going to see those things from Nathan's perspective. He has promised us that you have not seen these before because he's been doing quite a few of these online talks. And I said, I want to do one with you, Nathan, but it's got to be different.
Nathan Marsack, he's the man.
Yeah.
I consider
it's going to be different.
I consider him my best friend.
I love him too.
Okay.
He did introduce us.
No, he didn't introduce us, but he reintroduced. He's just so intrinsic to.
We're stuck with him.
He's intrinsic to the narrative. Okay, Kim. Now you can talk about your. Okay, so we've got our URL for our newsletter.
Sign up.
Okay, so tell us what this URL is.
Okay,
this is our newsletter.
You go to that,
which is free.
Well, one version is.
Yeah.
You go to our newsletter and you can sign up for the free version, or you can sign up for the paid version. The free version will get you something every week. Now I'm pretty regular. The paid version will get you something every month, and the paid version is all sorts of rare archival treats from our researches and from our travels, things that aren't elsewhere on the internet. The free version is LA preservation news and cultural tips and little essays and links to our blog. And most recently, we have a brand new blog post published yesterday that I'll mention in the upcoming newsletter. And that is all about everything we wish we'd known before we started doing these webinars, and no one else had written it, which made it very difficult to figure out how to do this.
But happily, I have a degree in computer science.
And happily,
being the worst computer programmer in the world, I at least know how to write down.
Stop squeaking.
I at least know how to write down.
You're squeaking.
I at least know how to write down the problems that are facing me and develop solutions based on available open source software.
Okay, that sounds really boring. But
and solving all these problems was incredibly boring. I would
but actually
sit on the couch.
Stop. Put your mask back on. But being able to actually write, I love you. Being able to sit down and write it out in a list of these are the things that we've done, and this is how we come live to you every Saturday. Because going live on Facebook is completely different and almost as confounding, but I'm not going to write out how to go live on Facebook because other people
live
have done
streaming, yeah,
it's a little tricky.
Not if you use Big Marker.
Yeah, but we're always live before we realize we're on it. I think I cussed at the beginning. Sorry. But now we have a blog post that is just how to put a webinar out, how to light it, how to have a green screen so we have this cool effect in the back, how to use a webinar platform so you don't have to use Zoom, and everything about Zoom is too much and not enough. And other things, and including, as I was making the list of all the cool stuff that you do to make the webinar function, you have really great software that is a visualizer for the audio. So we know the audio is coming through, even though we're not listening.
Can I explain this?
Yeah, it's a psychedelic.
So one of the challenges of hosting a webinar and being the technician is that you have to present and monitor the presentation. So I found this piece of software called
I'm sorry, I don't remember what it's called, but it's in the blog post. It's a
visualizer, and so I can have on an auxiliary computer that has input being piped to headphones. I can have the presentation on this auxiliary computer, and if there's audio like we're talking, then it makes psychedelic patterns. And if the audio is dead, which has never happened, but if the audio were dead, there'd be a flat line.
And you'd notice that.
Right. So and
if you flatline, you're dead. So you've got a problem. But of course, we'd see in the chat, Kim, Richard, we can't hear you. We see that too. So that was really nice. And then the other thing, not everybody knows about that. The other thing that I really like that you figured out, which
you probably wouldn't realize you were doing this unless you were trying to light yourself. We have an old rolling garment rack, which is about 6 feet tall. And we've got lights clipped all over it. It's right behind us. And it's 7 feet tall. Yeah. So that's how we're lighting ourselves. We've basically created a light rack just on a garment rack that doesn't have any clothes on it. And it's little things you might have around the house that makes this possible. So if anyone out there, we specifically wrote this, and I wanted to get it live while the Arrival conference is going on, because I'm participating for the next few days in this tourism conference, which is virtual this year. And I wanted to have it live so that other people who are trying to figure out a way to tell stories when we're not able to get together with large groups of people right now, we'll have some of these tools that we had, because it took us almost 6 months, and it shouldn't have.
No, it didn't. Okay, no,
it
did. It took us 6. Okay, stop.
Stopping.
Rebuilding the website from the ground up on an entirely new theme and back end was an endeavor that began in August of 2019. And I didn't finish the website rebuild until July 4, which gave me 6 weeks to figure out a webinar platform. Okay.
And you did it. And
I couldn't have figured out the webinar platform until I'd rebuilt the website from scratch.
But
so it took a long time.
A lot of the things that we ended up doing did take some time. And maybe the way we're doing it isn't perfect for everyone else, but I hope it shows all the moving parts.
No, it is. Plug your Ethernet cable into your internet gateway.
Right. And with that, we are going live tomorrow. So every Saturday you can expect to find us. That's weird. We're like there and we're there, but we're on the wrong side. Every Saturday you can expect to find us on our virtual webinar platform, telling stories. It starts at noon. It ends around 1:30. We have a Q&A afterwards. And the nice thing, and I've heard from a lot of people that this is a nice thing, is if you get distracted, that's cool, or you didn't quite catch something, or the phone rings, or you have to chase your dog, or you have to go somewhere, whatever.
Or Nathan says 3 sentences in a row that are really complicated.
You can come back to the recording, which goes live later that evening, and you can watch that recording as many times as you want, or even for the first time through the following Saturday. So it's a week-long opportunity to catch the latest broadcast, and then after a week, they become available as part of Esotouric On Demand, which is also something we write about in the blog post about how our webinar platform is helping us. And we hope that you'll spend an hour and a half with us every week and let us tell you stories of weird old Los Angeles, of which we have quite a few. And we love
what's on the screen
to spend time with you, sharing stories like tomorrow, 13 uncanny and weird Los Angeles crimes and mysteries. Unlucky 13, every one of these stories involves people who really went the wrong way. And we don't want you to go the wrong way, so hopefully they're cautionary tales, and also sweet tales, and also costume tales, and generally Halloweeny, which is my favorite holiday, and I can't believe I can't go out. So join me and cheer me up a little bit, because I can't believe I can't have a Halloween party, Richard. Every year we have a giant party.
Well, it's because I have to compete with Nathan with everything.
Nathan has a really good party too. He must be even bluer than me, because my party is mostly with the cats. So in any case,
Thank
so
you.
Good to see you. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Tune in tomorrow. It's going to be great. I'll put our mask.
Put your mask back on.
I'm going to sign us off.
Bye, guys. See you soon. Feeling weird.